today we're talking about Lake Bluff, Chicago Grits, and this is 2024. This was the Saturday race right before we start here. I again know that from the Monday race that the guy is going to say, we're going to say, bikers ready, and then they're whistling. And I tell this to the guy right next to me. First off, the start is much, much better than it was in the Mundelein race. There are also about probably 15 more people in this race than there were in the other race. Also, there are some people in the race that don't belong in a novice race. Now, again, I mentioned in the other video is that some people join the race just because they need points to get into higher higher categories, like into crit 3, 2, or in the pro race.
Referee's whistle will say riders ready. And away we go.
You too. It's gonna be crowded. It's sketchy at the beginning.
There are a lot of youngsters in this one, and it's kind of sketchy riding behind them because they're not being super definitive with their moves. So this guy kind of like moves out onto me. I mean, even the adults here, you'll see this guy to my left here, and this is much more technical course, but I almost eat it here because this guy basically just runs into me. So my wheel in the back here just skirts, and I was like, oh man, I almost ate it on that one. So, so this one, as you can see here in the bottom right corner, is a bit more technical. It's still relatively similar in that you're essentially sprinting. We got some guys from the last race too on my left here. And it's all relatively similar personnel that we saw in Mundelein. But here is another pretty sharp turn here. Got to eat this one all the way out to the corner and to the curb. And then this is straight, pretty big incline. Well, no, that's a lie. It's pretty like, it's a pretty big straight, but most of it's inclined upwards. So most of the people have been just, as you can see, sprinting on the right. I'm going 27 and they could just go by me like I'm not even moving at all. So I'm trying to move up a bit, but the lead pack just gets away really quick on this one too. I think they're still technically on. Oh no, they're a bit off. So the front people are a bit off the front pack currently. So, and I'm sort of just trying to keep calm here, trying to think that we can rein them back in. And I see a bit of like the same thing that I saw in Mundelein, where people aren't really taking lines super fast, and I think I can take them pretty sharp. But people are taking them wider as if, you need to. And some of them you do, some of them you don't. But there's a bit of a bump here as we go over this here. I think it's right around here. And then there's also a bump right before this left turn. So right here is where you hit a bump, like right before you hit that turn. So it's kind of sketchy. I see this guy trying to rein him back in. I should really just remove the beats per minute here because this is not correct. I'm not chilling at 130. I'm already trying pretty hard here. And then I do an effort here just to catch up, and then I'm like, okay, I can't even pass this one guy here, so I might as well stick on the wheel. That's the other guy from the Mundelein race. He was doing a pretty good job here. Again, I was even too tired to like stick on the wheel as we catch some people here. What I also noticed is that like I just need to get a good position at the start too, just so that I can see who's actually in front, because it's not always easy to see that and to stick on somebody's wheel if they're sort of, hey, another friendly face here. Trying again to stick up on the front. Quite windy here because we're going pretty quick around this. But this one's a pretty fun course, I think. Just not too many places to pass. This is one of the places that you can pass that I saw. And then I wouldn't want to pass somebody on this spot, but there's certainly ways that you can. One of the issues that I saw here, you can see me hitting my brakes on the right here. That's one of the issues too. I shouldn't be really wasting any energy. Like I should be pedaling less if I need to brake. So that's one thing that I noticed as well. Again, on this straight here, this is probably one that you can pass, but this one's pretty fast. So I think this one is probably where you can pass some people. They sort of slow down a bit to prepare themselves for the next bit. So that's probably something to note. Okay, so trying to stick behind this guy here. Again, another huge effort going up the hill a bit. Still going 28 miles an hour, but, you know, I think this guy's still getting away from me. So that's something that I need to also just be aware of, is that, you know, people are going to try to get away from you on this front straight. So I try to hit arrow position, that 90-degree position, save as many watts as possible if I can. And I actually start doing this into turns as well. As you can see here, I drop into the drops here and then fly around the corner, and then I'm back onto the train. But again, I think I wasted a lot of energy here trying to hook back up, so I need to find ways to conserve that energy and not burn that many matches, or just be in shape to be able to light many matches, you know? Again, I think I can stick on this guy's wheel a little bit further, but he's braking quite, like I have to brake behind him, so like I don't really particularly like that. Again, braking here pretty heavily. Really just trying to find my way around, and when are good opportunities to attack to try to pass people. Especially when they're not expecting it. If they're expecting it, that's a little bit troublesome, because it becomes really hard to like pass these guys. Here I try to put an effort in just to bridge the gap here. This guy's falling behind, so trying to reattach here. You can see the group up there. And again, trying to catch back up. And hitting up this guy, taking a swig of water. Staying in those drops as much as possible, trying to just be as arrow as possible. Got a pretty good group out here cheering me on, so that was really helpful. Hanging out to the left of these guys. Again, these guys have left the pack, so not super great to see this big gap here, so I'm trying to get that back right now. And I'm thinking I'm doing a great job like hanging on to the group here, so going about 29 miles an hour, hit the arrow position here, and just start flying down here to the corner. I'm just telling myself this is what I got to do to sort of stay with the pack. Because you don't really know when it breaks up if you're in the back or if you're like right behind people. So it's actually quite tough to know what's happening. Because the focus for me is like, don't crash. There's a big bump there. And then there's a big bump coming into this here. Bump, and then you can see in the corner. So that's really important to keep your hands on the handlebars there, and making sure that you have control. I imagine if this was wet at any degree, it would be just awful to ride on. There's another pretty big gap in between this person and the next people, so also probably going to put an effort in here just to catch back up. But thinking like, oh, maybe I should stay behind these guys' wheels so that I can rest a bit. Just need a second to breathe after that pretty big sprint.
Get on that wheel. Get on there.
Okay. Now hitting back up, hitting real close to this guy here. This guy goes outside. Just chilling here. Again, I see, a pretty big gap again, which is not great at all. Again, I was trying my best to be aware and be as conscious about people moving up and the groups breaking up. But I think what needs to happen is you need to definitely look quite a bit ahead just to make sure that these guys are still like following behind. If they're falling behind, I need to close that gap or see that and either attach back on or what have you. This guy, pretty strong rider. I think he was basically keeping me in the race as we move forward to the last bit. But we're only, what is it? We're only like 10, 11 minutes into the race, so we got like another 20 minutes of this. Trying to hit up on the back and see a guy that we're catching up to pretty quickly. So this guy's pretty much falling off the pack here. So we bypass that, just crossing the finish line in a second here. And then attack here. Because there's a big gap. I'm trying to close that up here. Aero position for the win. Comment down below if you like the angles of this Insta360 X4. I think the camera allows us some pretty cool views, especially if I'm just trying to keep one camera. I think I need to work on the audio though, because that's something that I would love to not have to like talk through after the fact, but just talk through as I'm riding. Don't get me wrong, like I'm pretty much dying here. Again, don't look at the beats per minute because that's very, very wrong. It's on my wrist heart rate instead of my actual arm bands, which is a lot more accurate. So this one I also averaged around 160 or 176 beats per minute. So I think I'm blowing my nose here, doing some snot rockets so that I can breathe again. This one again felt much more tough than the Mundelein crit. I had done a few workouts in between, so I was definitely not as fresh as I would normally be. But as you can see here, I'm again at the fronts. I'm trying to rein people back in. The motorcycle passes us because they're trying to close the gap and just be part of like the main pack. I'm pretty sure we almost get lapped by the winner at the end of the day. Here again, more aero position. Trying to pedal as fast as I can up the straight, gain as much time on the people in front of me. But at one point, I really kind of just like give up on the fact that I'm gonna catch anybody, because I'm riding solo for quite some time, and I kind of feel just completely dead at this point. And again, we're only like 13, 14 minutes into the race, so halfway into it. So again, I'm putting in a lot of efforts, trying my best to stay in aero position, and just doing as much work as possible to see somebody. Aero position isn't super comfortable for me at this moment, so just trying to stay in the hoods and in the drops instead of the hoods, just to be a bit more aerodynamic, even if I can save like 10 to 15 watts in that position. Just complete sufferfest. I think my heart rate monitor finally gets up to the fact that I'm at 180. So at one point I sort of just say, okay, I'm not going to catch anybody, so I see this guy, which is great to see, somebody to to actually draft off of, take some of the effort off of me. So again, a big effort at the very beginning of the incline here. So I think, again, something that I should work on is just trying my best to stay on people's wheels as close as possible, obviously with not intervening, but also, you know, not putting myself in danger here. Passing another person that we're lapping. This guy's not really giving me much room here. And then just trying to hitch back up to this guy here. And again, some people aren't pedaling throughout some of these turns, and quite honestly, I didn't really feel like there were many turns that I could not pedal in, even if I was in the full downstroke, because we just weren't going that fast. But in these 3 turns that we go through, maybe those are ones that you don't want to pedal, but I was pedaling through some of these too, or at least beginning to pedal pretty much like right after I lean into the turn here, and back on the pedals here. Again, I let this guy go a bit, so I'm still doing quite a bit of work. Heart rate says 192. I don't think my heart rate was that high, but it was probably like in the high 180s. So, yeah, I really needed to spend the energy so that I wouldn't spend so much energy, you know, trying to catch back up to him. Yeah, this guy got way too far ahead of me. Here's our friends. Again, another guy from Wonderline, trying to sprint back up here to stick on his wheel. So this was an interesting dynamic. So this guy here, I think you'll actually see interesting part here, because he, not on this turn, but the next turn, he goes quite wide, and I'm pretty sure he almost crashes. So you'll see that in just a second here. So he goes right next to this guy, and then the other guy holds up. And watch this turn here. Goes super wide, and then almost hits that telephone pole. Comes out of the grass here, hooks back on. And I brake a lot there, which is not super great for my energy levels at this point. Again, my heart rate says it's 193. I don't think my heart rate can go that high. But I'm feeling it. They're passing another guy here. I'm not sure if this is like somebody off the front or not. But there are 2 groups, and one of the groups is ahead of us, and there's like a guy that's way ahead of us that, like I said before, doesn't belong in this group. So I'm not sure like if the people we're passing are, you know, people that are from the front group or what's going on. My assumption is that we're lapping them. They're not broken off the front group. But that's just an assumption. I know we passed this guy originally, so this might be the first time we're lapping him. And then again, these guys are doing a great job, and I'm trying to stick on their wheel as much as possible, but they're both just charging and doing what they should be doing teamwork wise. Now there's not a bunch of us, so I think at one point I was like, maybe I should help them out, but the other point was like, I'm having just the hardest time sticking on the people's wheels. As you can see, like I'm still not on this guy's wheel, even though this angle ends up making them seem like they're further than they actually are. But so we see some guys here. And we're just trying to pass them, and we're having a hard time passing them. So we mentioned to them they're teens, so and I think it's 2 teens with their dad or something like that. So they hit it, and I'm trying to trying to hook up to this and also breathe, so I'm trying to spit out some of the saliva that's caught in my throat. But catch back on here. So again, these guys are basically just battling it out with each other, but essentially making us faster and better. So I really appreciate their work, because I I would love to give them anything that I've got to help us try to catch, but I really just had nothing. I was really just trying to get back on and just hang with the guys until the finish. Again, awesome crowd. Had like 10 people out to cheer me on, so you know, really appreciate. I'll throw some shots in as well that they had of me riding instead of me in this sort of third-person massacre, if you will. The funny part is, anytime like I thought I can take basically a pull, I tried to catch up, and then they would like pull, and I'd be like, okay, well, I'm spending energy just trying to catch up to you, so this doesn't seem like it's going to work out. So again, another spot where I'm like, oh, okay, nope, okay, got nothing, okay, let's try to hook on. Again, just a strange way of racing. Just like any straight, I hit it when I hit the straight, and then relax into the corner, and then hit it on the straight again, relax in the corner, hit it in the straight. That's sort of the repeat notion that I noticed that happened in both of these races. So very interesting to say the least. I'm trying to make sure that I stay on this guy's wheel, and then make sure that the guy behind me gets some time to rest as well. And quite honestly, I think I'm having a hard time staying on his wheel, so I'm pretty sure the guy behind me, that's currently behind me now, is sort of just saying like, okay, close the gap, man, close the gap. So I'm sticking on it. This is time when I'm actually getting pretty close to him, you can see. I guess for this you kind of have to just be ready to go whenever, and based on when these guys are going to do surges, just do the surges. There goes that guy, taking another lick. I'm basically doing snot rockets so that I can breathe. Then I have to focus and try to get back onto the train, because I've let them get a little bit further away than I should. Then another sprint here, essentially. Another, like, not sprint, but surge to try to stay up. Again, they're playing side by side, so it's kind of strange. Like, I get sort of challenging to try to pull, but we really should be working together to try to make sure that we're pulling and that we take some turns. Love the cheering for me. Okay, so another interesting thing here that happens is that we catch some guys, right? And again, I have no idea what we end up, if we're passing these guys or not. I think there are some guys that were in here that their numbers aren't in the results, so I was a little bit confused on like who some of these people are, because numbers don't exist in the results. So it doesn't seem like there's like a DNF or anything like that, but yeah, there's some guys that we eventually catch that are, I'm just like, where these ghost participants? What's going on here? So I think for this, really, yeah, these are the two guys here that I don't think end up in the results. So I'm not sure if they've fallen off the pack or if they had a free lap or something like that, what the deal is. So I think once we finish this lap, then we have one more lap to go. At one point, I think you can see the guys hanging on the wheel behind me. Yeah, I think we're lapping some more people here, trying to make sure we stick on the wheels here. Yeah, I need to get closer to these guys so that I'm not wasting this energy here. We got some friends that we passed before. Here's another guy hooking on. Last lap, alright. So we got 5 people. We got 2, 4, and myself. Sort of in this, I think, third pack. Yeah. Just blowing out some snot rockets to clear my, so I can make sure that I can breathe throughout the finish. Alright, catching up to those guys that sprinted ahead of us originally. I think that guy has the same bike as me. This guy got a little bit close to me here because he was trying to stick on the guy's wheel. Nice free hope sound though. Alright, into the last quarter bit here. So we got basically 3 turns to the finish. Or 2 turns to the finish. Trying to stick on. And I actually play this fairly smart here, especially with the group that we have here. I think only Joe Fox, the one guy that I've been sort of battling with, he also beat me by a bit in Mundelein as well. But the dude's like in his 20s, so give me a break here. And I got 0 training, so last turn to the straight. All right, so we got first guy taking off, and then this guy takes off. I get off a little bit, but I'm not full gassing it. So I'm up, standing up, ready to go. Following his wheel, we got guy on the right here, and then hit it. And then end up passing this guy right at the ends. So right behind Joe here on the results board, 15th. And this is just the view of me. You can see a nice view of me, especially you can actually see. I'm literally feeling like I want to throw up. But we'll show you this last lap here. As I talk to some of the riders here, stop the timer as well. But yeah, I was suffering. I could barely even do this last lap here. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I salted up my glasses, so I was sweating all over it. It was a pretty hot day. It was probably like 85, and like probably in the 80s to 90s degrees humidity wise. But yeah, you all let me know what you think in terms of the view. I think technically you can directionally lock it so that you always get a certain view.
Hey man,
This is Joe here. This is the guy that...
carried my ass the last half of the race, you too.
Yeah, this guy. He's just like quartering like crap. Yeah.
I was like, dude.
I was like, dude, man, I don't know how you are having those issues cornering.
Dude,
I don't know if it's
I
like
wanted to
a
vomit the entire time. I was just like
bar with.
looking down the entire race. I'm like, don't throw up, don't throw up.
This guy in front of us too was working with Joe to sort of go back and forth, so he was doing an awesome job.
Yeah, like every corner, the first 2 or 3 laps, I was just braking a lot.
Yeah,
So
everybody was.
Yeah.
It was really crowded at the start.
Yeah, it put me in a bad place.
Cause you were in the backpack too, right?
Dude, I was like last of the last.
Yeah, same.
I was fighting my way back the entire time.
Yeah, I kept thinking about what happened in Mundelein.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, let's not let that group go. And then it breaks apart into 2 packs. And I'm like, damn it.
So
can't even make a game plan for it.
No, I also, I mean, I don't know how much you've raced, but
this is number 2.
okay. Yeah, I'm not too much far ahead of you.
Yeah.
3 this week. I did this Northbrook line, and then I've done like I did Northbrook last year, and then I've done a couple like practices.
Okay.
And that's it.
Oh, hey, man. Hey, good job.
Hey,
Thanks for carrying me, man.
Oh,
You
He
killed it.
basically tells us to get the road here, so basically do a bunch of kind of off-roading here. But anyways, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think, and do a crit race. Try a crit race. It's pretty fun. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.